TikTok. Hey, alrighty, we are live and we are here. I'm gonna put us up on ticking talking. Um, so that way we all uh so everybody can kind of join us and people who want to kind of get a little bit of information and people who've just kind of been around. One of the things that I'm finding, and Sherry, we are going concurrently on YouTube, and I'll probably end up kind of stripping this out and sending you whatever we have that's great. Um, One of the things for me, I'm older than you are.
Barely.
Huh?
I said barely.
And one of the things that I really kind of think about is how, like, you're in your 40s, right? You're in your 40s.
Yeah, I'm
And
46.
a lot of times, a lot of people don't realize that um, Black women or women of color do not enter menopause, that whole menopause being that whole transit, all three of the stages, in the same way that our Asian or our Caucasian counterparts do. And it
Hmm.
really makes a difference. I know you're an entrepreneur,
Hmm.
and I know that you also have a lot of things. You keep a lot of plates in the air. Where and when did you start perimenopause? Do you remember?
Um, it was in
Mm.
2021, I believe.
Hold on a second. Hold on
2021.
one second. I don't know why I can't hear you. Give me one sec.
But you over there clicking on stuff?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it was like 2021.
Oh,
Um,
new.
yeah, it was like 2021. And now I believe it's full out. Like it's
Showing you
here.
all its glory, huh?
It's here. That's why I
So,
ain't got no clothes on right now. And then I'll be cold in 5 minutes.
oh
Like
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
my whole body is completely is menopausal and bipolar right now, I say. The only thing I
Exactly.
don't have is like the mood swings.
Oh,
Um
great.
I don't have the vaginal dryness. Like I don't have those issues. And I don't claim that I ever will.
There you go. There you go. Has there been any drop in your libido?
It has not.
Okay, that's a good
There
thing.
has not been a drop in my libido at all. Um mm-mm. I
So,
have to make myself take breaks.
oh, that's a great thing. I know there's one of the paradoxes of perimenopause that I think about and makes me chuckle is that you swing between wanting sex, you wanting to be intimate all the time, and then being in a space where you're like, get away from me, don't touch me, I don't want to know you. So there's that mood, that swing between the desire and the lack of desire. And then two, you have that the other paradox is, and I'm going to do a post on this tomorrow, is that this is the time that you are least thinking about getting pregnant, but that is the thing that can definitely jump up in your life um, the most. Before we go any further, I want to have my friend Shari introduce herself to you, and because tonight we're talking about. Give me one second. This is just all like rough camp today. Let me see what I got. Here's my ticker. Trying to figure out why we got two things going. All right, here's show. And this has got to go. So bear with me, all. In fact, I think I'm just going to do the whole thing hidden and see what we can do about this. Cancel that for a second. Of course, that's going to be what happens right now. This is an example of a banner. Lord help the children. So, anywho, um, give me one second, Cherry.
You're fine.
Yeah. But then that banner, this example is still showing there. I'm having such a great time. Anywho, I'm not going to really worry about this too much. I'm going to probably take that out and tape it out. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about is have you given any thought to tell the folks who you are, where you're from, and where they can find you, and I'm going to have you do it again at the very end.
I am Shari. I am one of the hosts of Naturally Unbothered podcast, and I'm also the owner and creator of Adornment Chic. I make beautiful earrings and accessories out of clay. You guys can find me all over social media, especially the podcast. The podcast is on anywhere podcast stream, Naturally Unbothered Podcast, and you can find my jewelry, Adornment Chic, on Instagram, TikTok, and all the social media. So
Awesome. I like to give people a chance to say where they come from and what their platform is about, mostly before we kind of get into things. What
my platform
tonight?
is about sex.
Okay, there you go, and that's why she started
Naturally
off with
Unbothered is podcast is all about sex, and
and more
everything in
sex,
relationships.
sex and relationships. And they have an amazing podcast there where everyone who comes has the ability to speak freely. Since sex is the platform that you pretty much kind of spend the most time with, do you find or your friends or your peers in this who are in this kind of, I guess, perimenopausal or menopausal state, how are they faring? What are you hearing in terms of from your podcast or from the connections and relationships that you have?
So for years, I've always heard all the stories like your vagina's gonna dry up, like you're never gonna want sex, you're not gonna do this, you're gonna only want to sleep all the time, and but you're gonna have insomnia. You're gonna like I heard all the horror stories, and so it's just completely like it just I'm just astonished that like me personally and none of my friends none of them are going through any of that. Like I do have a couple that do have the insomnia thing going and stuff like that. But for the most part, they're all still having sex and lots of it. They're not complaining about vaginal dryness. Just the hot flashes. It's getting them all. Like the flashes are the only thing that is consistent between everybody that I know. And I think my sister told me she's been in menopause for about 5 years now, and she's still handling her business. And so I don't fear it as bad as I did approaching to it, because it's amazing, like as soon as you say I'm going through it and everyone's like, oh, me too, like otherwise no one says anything. You're just sweating because you're nervous you know I can't hear you. No. Yeah, but that's just, I mean, basically you just, everybody just think you're just sweating because you're nervous. And I, because I do look as young as I do, whenever I'm sweating and I'm around people, I tell them I'm going through menopause because they always looking at me like, why you nervous? I still can't hear you. Like, why you like I'm nervous or something, especially if I'm explaining something to someone. Like, I just feel like they're automatically and instantly thinking.
That's interesting because for me, I know that I'm going to switch this camera too, so I'm consistent. And I'm going to take this one out. All right. Bear with. Okay, I'm over here with you now.
Okay,
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great.
Perfect. One of the things for me is that I've never, because I've always lied about my age. So ever since I was 21. So for me, it was trying to make this congruent with everything. Um, I know for me, I had hot flashes when I was nervous, when I was uncomfortable, when I anticipated something bad happen. So those would be the times that I would find that I would flash the most. And particularly like being in front of a room, if something started to break or not work out well, that would like really send me over the edge as well. And I would just have cascading hot flashes, which was
Oh wow.
not as much fun. It's like you go, you know how like it starts, like some people it starts here and then it like comes down and then you're
Yes.
sweating. Then there'll be another one coming down. And it was just so much fun. And I still have them. I still have hot flashes. Um, at least a good strong 10 years being postmenopausal, I still have them. And I still have night sweats. So that's why I say to people, like in some posts, doesn't really matter if you are postmenopausal. You can still deal with a lot of the challenges that women who are perimenopausal deal with. It's just it comes in different ways and with different levels of intensity. Um, One of the things that we don't talk about, a lot of times women will talk about, oh, I'm having this flash, I'm having, sometimes people struggle with body aches and things of that nature. Have you really ever had like the sit down and have the head conversation with, you know, what does it mean for you to be going through perimenopause, and what does that mean to you?
Honestly, the most that I have ever talked about my menopause is been with you. You are like
Really?
a wealth. Yeah, you're like a wealth of knowledge.
Thanks.
Like, and I mean, if I have questions, you know the answers. And if I don't ask the question, you thinking it somehow and you say it. And like,
Oh,
and I watch you on Instagram and listen to stuff. I'm like, oh, let me try that. Like,
thanks.
so honestly, you're the wealth of knowledge that I know, and the conversations that I have. Like,
Oh,
honestly, my friends and we only talk about it when the flash comes. Like, oh, I'm sweating,
wow.
I'm having a flash, and then we'll say something about it, and then that's just it. You know, I did have an in-depth conversation with my doctor about
Mm,
it when
mm,
I first originally had the set of, I know it, I remember September of 2021. I had the conversation with my doctor about it, and she was like, she tested,
mhm,
she
mhm.
tested me and everything, and she's like, I just don't think you're going through it. And I was like, I'm going through something.
She says, ma'am, this is not a test. I'm telling you now, we are going through something.
And it was kind of like, honestly, it was kind of like when you first start your period, how it's just like you'll have some this time and then you won't. So I had it like the whole month of September,
Mm.
and then it went away, and I didn't have it again until December.
Oh
And then
God.
it went away. Like, it did that off and on for a couple of years, and it was just only just the sweat, just the night sweats. And actually, at first there was no night sweats. I'll take that back. I
Okay.
didn't. The night sweats did not start until the menopause was like, "Hello, we're here. We're not going away. You're not gonna get any more breaks. Um, we're here every day." And so some days I go and I don't have any, and then some days it's just like, why did I even put on clothes today? Because I'm just keep showering and changing. At this point, the laundry detergent is like, I have to keep buying it. It's just like over and
So
over. Like,
instead of having the kids running through it now, you're running
yeah,
through it.
it's like me. I'm running through it, but I did change to method. And so now I'm getting my money's worth,
I was
and I
gonna
don't have to
say,
buy so much.
have you gone on to find another kind of product? I know a
I
lot of people
did.
start.
I did because a method is like 66 loads.
Oh, that's not.
And yeah, it's
Mm,
$14, but 66 loads for $14, I'll take it.
mm.
And you get every single 66 of those loads. So, that's how I just finagled that out, because buying detergent every week and a half wasn't making sense. So,
So a lot of things. It's funny. I opt not to use the word change. I tend to use the word evolve. Um, because it's my sense that change is not positive. Change
Mhm.
is not fun. When you change your pocketbook, invariably you have forgotten something. When you change your clothes or you make a change in moving, it's never fun or positive. And I think of when I think of women who start perimenopause, you start off perimenopause as less patient, less wise, less less understanding, less uh less. I think some women are not aware of who and what's on the other side of this.
Mhm.
I like to call it adventure. And what I think from who I was at 35 and who I am now, I'm a very different person. I was that person who would definitely, if there was a disagreement, I was definitely going for your neck. I was definitely going for the lowest
I
common
agree. I
denominator.
agree with that. I agree with that. I definitely 100% pick my battles. I just there's a lot of things that I just will not give my energy to. And before, everything was worth the battle. Everything was ready, could be popped off at any time.
Was a
There
turn
was
up.
no fight unfought.
Hmm.
You
Oh, we're
know,
going back
so
there. We're going to say something. We're going to say something.
right, right, right. But the
Yeah.
only thing that I didn't do is I didn't, like, if we fought about something, I didn't bring it up later. Like, oh well, the last time. Like, I didn't do that, because I used to just hate when people did that to me. So,
Hmm.
but
She's
still,
like, why you going to do that?
the fight was going to be a fight. And so
Hmm.
now I do. I think a lot more before I speak.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I tend to kind of gauge, like, what level of pissed am I at a level that I really need to address this, or am I at a level where, something needs to be said, or am I a level at enough is enough? Or sometimes just ignore that shit. Like, it just depends on, the mood. But now I actually can, in the moment, I can definitely determine, you know, where to go
Hmm.
in the fight versus just automatically just going for the jugular and just trying to take the head off. Because I mean, I'm a Scorpio, we're fiery. And
That right there. I'm definitely I'm coming for your neck. If I'm
yeah,
upset,
yeah.
there's
So
going to be some kind of blood
so
flowing.
definitely, so definitely I have evolved in
Hmm.
your
Okay.
in your
All
your
right.
term. I definitely have evolved in that sense. And I'm very thankful that I have, because I mean, it was a lot reckless and messy.
So let me ask you this. Do you find that now that you kind of think through the conversations and the disagreements, and that's something that I had to get for my own preservation because I would turn up and it would be one massive hot flash. Um, do you think in terms of, say, for example, when you're contemplating things, your adrenals, your cortisol, some of the other hormones that are in play?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Oh, hold a second.
Definitely. Especially cortisol. Like, I can always tell when I'm more stressed
Hmm.
than I outwardly portray.
Hmm.
And it's always in my stomach. It's always in my gut. It doesn't matter what I'm doing, even if I'm doing yoga, if I'm walking, whatever I'm doing, my stomach will be fuller. It doesn't matter. Like, it's always there. And, like, I've said this before, I'll say it a million times. Black women hold their stress in their stomachs. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
cortisol is real, and it
What's
will
it, that
just,
fifth chakra?
yeah,
Yeah.
it will just sit there and grab a hold and sit there. And
Yep.
so, I do know that. I do recognize that when I am more stressed, that is my area. I will not be wearing my little tops to show off my stomach during that time, because I know. what it is. But yeah, definitely. I think about a lot of stuff, like I got this squeaky knee over here. Like it wasn't squeaking before I went through menopause, you
Somebody
know.
else said that today, like their knee has been bothering them. I used to have an angry knee. There's something to be said for the joint pain, like when you used to bounce out of bed, and then now you get to a point where you're like, oh dear God, and you can barely walk off the bed versus jumping up out of bed. What else? What's changed about you?
I mean, mostly the
Your
knee
sex
is,
life's intact. Intact. Excuse me. Your sex life's intact. We know
yeah,
that. Um, you're managing your your temperament. You're managing your
yes,
temperament better. Okay, which are
yes.
all amazing things. How's your diet?
My diet is still the same. I've been pescatarian for some years
Oh,
now, so my diet is still the same. I will say I drink less.
oh, really? Why is
hmm
that? What made you decide to drink less?
I don't think it was a decision. I can't get drunk like that out. Like it's just,
It doesn't work anymore. Is that what you're saying? Alcohol does not work
no,
any
no.
longer.
I think I don't like the hangover. I don't like the
Hmm.
feeling of it. Like it's not, before it was like, oh, let me get drunk
Turn
and
up.
we'll get drunk and whatever happens tomorrow happens tomorrow. Now I'm like, and let me drink these two drinks and sit my ass down somewhere.
It
Maybe a
hits a little different.
yeah, maybe a third one, maybe. Um but when I was in Dubai, I mean, and this just tells you the difference between where we live.
Hmm.
Um, so in the United States, like anything can be put in the food. Like it's just I mean, I'm just saying anything can be in food,
True.
anything can be in your drinks. Whereas overseas, and I learned this when I lived in Asia before, that there are certain things that they won't even allow to be imported
Really?
into the country, and like there's certain foods, processed foods, there's certain things it's just not allowed, like that you're not going to find it, it's not going to be
Oh,
there,
wow.
like you're just not going to find those things in their grocery stores or even in the American-ish grocery store. You're not going to find any of those things,
Really?
because they don't allow those certain chemicals, certain things in the food and stuff like that. So, and that does include liquor. And so when I when I was in Dubai, I was kept noticing like I'm drinking, but I'm not really getting drunk. Like I'm just like really tipsy. And it wasn't that like the drinks weren't strong enough, because I had like some straight alcohol as
Oh, what happened?
well. Yeah, I wasn't getting all out drunk, so I was just like, what's the difference? And the difference is there are certain things in the liquor that's not allowed over there, that's allowed over here.
Really?
And so therefore, I was not getting that same those
Messy stuff.
hangovers,
Yeah.
the none of that stuff. So I feel like probably if I was over there, I probably would be back to, drinking like I used to drink. But while I can still have a full out hangover and headache, it's the headache. I don't like the headache.
It's funny. Your body almost is in a state of recalibration where
Mhm.
you are not like things like I used to be horribly allergic to avocado.
Mhm.
Crazy. Now I can eat avocado all day long. Avocado toast, avocado guacamole, this, that. The moment it would cross my lips, it would make me violently ill, which is interesting because the avocado now, at this point in our lives, you need those the fats and the omegas that are in avocados. Where I'm wondering if I just didn't need it. Um, how are things going with your skin? I mean, do you kind of sit and do kind of a diagnostic inspection, like what's my hair like? What's my skin like? What are my nails like? What are my gums like? What, because I would do a periodic, like monthly. I would go through and I'd say, okay, here are the systems, the body systems that I know are susceptible to change because of the hormonal imbalance. Your hair, how's your hair doing?
So that's the reason why I'm locked,
Uh-huh. Oh, really? You
because
started locking?
yeah,
Because you're,
this is the reason why I locked my hair, is because because it like thinned out. Like it started thinning out, and I had this huge, beautiful afro, and it started thinning out. I'd had my hair in some faux locks, and I left them in for like 3 months, and
Mhm.
then when I took them out, my hair was just thinner.
Ooh.
I have this love hate, actually this hate relationship with water. Like I
Oh,
hate water with a deep passion.
explain that for me.
I don't like it. It's tasteless. It don't like. I know why I
Drinking,
have to drink
drinking
it.
water,
I
or
just don't
just,
like it.
or
Drinking water. Yeah,
okay,
drinking water.
okay.
No,
That's a
no. I'm gonna
that's a
take a
whole
shower, baby.
bathroom.
I'm gonna get some water on this
I
skin. I'm
was
gonna be
like,
in somebody's ocean by some beauty. I just don't like drinking water. It's just
well,
nasty to me.
it's
But
you got to find
I
your
will.
water brand.
No, it doesn't matter. I don't like it. Okay, I don't like it. It's
Okay,
nasty
just
to
I'm going to
me.
pause for a moment and ask you, what water brands have you tried?
Oh
Because
my gosh.
hydration at this point in life is extremely critical. Be-
Listen.
okay, talk
Listen,
to me.
I have drank any and every brand, spring, pH balanced, just everything. But the difference is, although I know how much I hate it, I know
Hmm.
how much I need it. And I can tell when I don't drink it, because then because I normally have really smooth skin. But
Hmm.
when I don't drink enough, I can tell in my urine, I can tell in my skin.
Yep.
And then, and that knee that we was talking about, it be acting up.
Hmm.
Like, and I can just tell when I'm not properly hydrated. I mean, last summer I passed out at the post
Are
office.
you serious?
Yeah, I mean, because I walk a couple miles. Well, at least it's like a mile and 3/4 to get to the post office, which is
Hmm.
not that far. And that's
Okay.
there and back.
Hmm.
And so always walk to the post office. But last summer I was walking a lot, at least 4 to 5 days out the week. I was walking like miles,
And
and
down there with
so
y'all, it gets warm.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but I normally go in the morning, early in the morning
Uh-huh.
time. But again, with the water, I would normally wake up in the morning, drink the nasty water, and then I would go for my walk. Well, on this particular day, I woke up, I was running late, I was like trying to beat the heat. I didn't drink my water, and I was like, you know what? I'll just bring it with me and I'll drink it as I go. And by the time I got to the post office,
Oh God.
I started seeing little white spots, little
Oh.
bloop, 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 bloop. And then I started feeling a little funny. I started sweating. I sent my partner a message like, yo, you might have to come and get me. I'm feeling like I might pass out, or I'm feeling woozy or something. I said like that. And then and I had a lot of packages too. And so the lady is like doing my packages or whatever. And I told her, I said, oh, I was like, I'm feeling a little dizzy. And I'm this whole time I'm drinking. I've already finished that one water that I was walking, that the one that I was supposed to drink before I left. So I'm starting on this second water. So I'm trying to hydrate because I'm like, ooh, I think I'm about to pass out. But let me go ahead and
You know
hydrate.
when you're about to pass out, by the
Yeah.
way.
So, well, I ain't never really passed out before, so no. But I just felt
Really?
like I was about to pass out. Like
Hmm.
I knew my body.
Yeah.
My body was
But your
telling
body
me.
tells you.
My body was telling me something. And
Hmm.
so then, right after that, I told the lady that was doing my packages. I said, "Hey, I said I think I'm about to pass out. I'm like, I'm so hot." She's like, do you have your water?" I said, "Yeah, I have my water." She takes her fan and she turns the fan towards me. And as soon as that cold air hit me, I just fell out.
Snapped out. Oh, oh, you passed out.
I just fell out. But I didn't lose consciousness. I just fell out. Like my whole body just gave out and I just hit the floor. And so I laid on the floor and I told her, don't stop doing my packages.
Just keep going.
Keep going. I'll get up when it's time to pay.
Oh my God. That's insane. That's
And
insane,
it was like
man.
the people in line were running to me. This one lady was a nurse, and I was just like, she was like, sit up. I said, no, I know the floor is dirty, but it's really cool. I'm just gonna lay here. I'm just gonna lay here.
It'll be all right. Really, alcohol will
I'm
take
just gonna
that
lay
work.
here. And she's like, well, and then the lady at the post office worker lady, she was like, she walks here, and then the lady's like, oh, do you have a way home? I said, I already text my partner, he's on his way, you know. But yeah, and so literally, when it was time for me to pay, I got my bearings, I got up, I paid, and
Cool.
then I got my receipt. Yep, I clawed my way up there. Paid, and then I went after I paid. I got my receipt, and I went and sat still on the floor. I sat where my partner could see me, but I just stayed on the cool floor, and I just sat there until he came, and I was just like, never again will I not drink the water before I
Yeah.
leave the house. Like,
Let me do
I've been
this.
doing
This
the
is
whole time, I've been doing the same thing, and the one time I do it differently, I
You
pass
see
out.
this? This is my eyeglass case, and I keep like an extra pair of sunglasses in here. But the other thing, and this is unintended, this is a product that I have in my showcase on TikTok.
Mhm.
And the reason why I mention this is I thought about you when you said that you did not like the taste of water.
It
And when you,
doesn't matter. Them things don't work.
some of them do. I mean, some
I
of them are
don't.
good.
I know in my mind that it is, and I just don't like it. I just
Your
force
body
myself
just
to
rejects
drink
it.
it. Yeah, like I just drink it. Like, look, I'm almost finished with this one, and I got another one. Like I
Girl.
drink. I make myself drink it because I know that
So
I need it, but I literally
you
hate
needed
it.
this.
No, and I can't.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like with those drink by 10 o'clock. I'm not doing all that. First of all, I'm a slow drinker, and all that's gonna do is depress me more. Like,
All right. During perimenopause, until your
hmm
period stops, and
oh
especially
well,
with
I
this
don't have a
country,
period,
your
so
period's over. So you're
yeah, I haven't had a
menopausal.
period before menopause. So I've
Oh,
had a
okay.
partial
Mm.
hysterectomy, so I haven't had a period since 2013.
All right. So you've been menopausal,
Yeah,
but in that menopausal transit state for a while.
right.
And what a lot of times, like I call that, like when women kind of enter into perimenopause surgically, it's like suddenly menopause for a lot of women, their body starts to bug out. Like they'll be there and it's like, why is it that I feel like my vagina is falling out? I'm having hot flashes and I want to eat everything. So it really depends upon how well balanced you were in the beginning as to what's
Hmm.
going to happen. A lot of people, like I noticed you said you're pescatarian. A lot of my friends that are either vegan or pescatarian tend to have fruitarians, you're not getting enough protein, but pescatarians and vegans tend to get the most balanced nutrition, and therefore they tend to fare a little bit better than people who eat a lot of meat products and
Hmm.
who eat a lot of fat and a lot of sugar,
Right.
because that stuff, those things tend to be triggers for a lot of women. For example, I know drinking caffeine for me has always been a trigger. If I just wanted to have a day filled with hot flashes, all it would take is for me to have caffeine and have a little bit of stress, and then we were off to the races for the day.
Mm. Yeah, I've
So
never been a big soda drinker, so
mhm. Sugar,
yeah.
I would find that would deposit in my knees. So
Mm.
you want to see where, one of the things that I always recommend to people is every situation has something connected to it.
Hmm.
Every symptom has something connected to it. So if you're having a lot of hot flashes, look at your sugar consumption. Look at your caffeine consumption. Look at how you're managing your stress. What is your gut health like? So those
Hmm.
are like four things that are really crucially important, because especially if we as women, especially women of color, tend to kind of do that absorption right into that solar plexus, and that's why a
Hmm.
lot of folks are in this space where they're just like getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger across the midsection.
I did add wormwood,
Okay,
woodworm
woodworm. Okay,
to my tea
so
diet.
bitters. So you're adding bitters. One of the things
I
that
add
people,
the actual herb, and it tastes way better, way 30 million times worse than bitters. I should wish I could just drop some bitters off in there. It'd probably be better than that stuff, because it is like, oh, it. I don't. Mm.
So talk to me about wormwood. What is the wormwood for?
It's really good for your digestive health.
So it's like a
Because like I said, there's a lot of things that, a lot of stress, a lot of stuff that is held in the gut. And I've never had very great gut health, like even as a child. I've always battled like, you know, gut health issues.
hmm
And so when I noticed that once I stopped eating meat, then I became regular.
hmm
Because I never used to be regular. I would just poop like once a week or once every, yeah, once a week.
Wow.
Once a week was saying was good.
You're
But
full of shit
I
then. You were full of shit then.
literally, and I used to always have to go, and the doctor would have to get it all out. Like I done had went to the
Ooh.
doctor so many times as a kid and a teenager, like, so
You were
I
impacted
did,
like that?
yeah. So I did, I did add that to my diet, and I have noticed a difference. I've noticed a really big difference in that. But I'm a lot regular anyway, just because I don't eat the meat. But I was waking up every morning, and this is something, and I don't think you've ever discussed this, but menopause can cause nausea in the
Oh, yeah,
mornings.
absolutely. Like morning
And
sickness.
so that is a symptom that I
hmm
did acquire, and I did not know that it was a symptom of menopause.
hmm
But I just couldn't figure it out. I'm like, every morning I feel like I want to vomit, and I don't understand. It's like I'm pregnant over here. I couldn't figure it out. So I did Google it, and I
hmm
did see that one of the symptoms of menopause is morning nausea. And so that is the main reason why I decided to get the woodworm and add it into my diet. So I first was drinking it in the morning with my tea,
hmm
but then I just decided I would do it at night.
hmm
Um, and drink it at night. And then ever since I did that, I don't have any
Interesting.
stomach problems at
Well,
all
that
in the
makes
morning.
sense. That morning sickness makes sense because, in the same way that when you're pregnant, your hormones are in flux trying to kind of get regulated, it's that same kind of thing. I know I don't have immediate a morning sickness like that. I know that I have a certain hour or window that if I'm awake and I don't get something in my body,
Hmm.
that'll get me there as well. Let me ask
Well,
you
I
this.
do a lot of intermittent fasting,
hmm
so I'm used to not eating like like that in the morning. So I just determined that like the only way that I'm going to be able to continue that is to
I
drink
have
it
a
at
little something.
night. Yeah, to drink it at night.
Have a little
So,
something.
and then we have this little tea shop across the street, and the guy went and made me all these different herbs and stuff to supposed to help me with my menopause, but it doesn't
So,
help.
just funny. Well, one of the teas that I highly recommend for everybody, and I want to kind of rewind. Sherry said a lot of really, she dropped a lot of gems. She really did. For those people who are in the cognoscenting. Um, One of the things that she mentioned, I don't know if you caught it on the low key there, that she walks a lot. She does a lot of walking. So she kind of slides in a lot of exercise. One of the things I highly recommend if you are trying to manage or master your menopause is that you get more exercise in. I
Definitely.
don't care how you do it. Also, is hydration. That's going to be another thing that's extremely important because as you flash and you are sweating, you are
Hmm.
giving off a lot. You're releasing a lot of moisture that
Yes,
you normally
definitely.
would not really be aware of, especially you're in those hot weather states, be it in the south where there's a lot of steamy hot days in the Texas area, in the Arizonas and the New Mexico areas. And with global warming, quite honestly, it could be almost anywhere at this point. Make sure, I always say, carry a bottle of ice water. Some people who cannot drink regular water can tolerate or endure cold water, ice cold water.
Yeah,
You're like, nah.
that's even worse. That's even worse
All
for
right.
me.
So, all
If
right.
it's cold, it's gonna take me even longer to drink it. So
not even
I
outside?
literally, Yeah, I literally have to do room temperature. That's the only way that I'm really gonna drink it. If it is
Wow.
too cold, it's just gonna be it's gonna sit there until it cools off.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but I do,
Um,
but sometimes I will drink it. Sometimes I'll put ice in my water and I'll just make myself drink it just to, just because, I know that, it's good for me. Like I said, it's not like I'm in denial about how, the benefits of drinking water is. It's just,
mhm.
I can't stand it. And I
But
just
that's the
can't stand
thing,
it.
though, Shari, and I'm sure you're not the only person out there that just does not like consuming water. I mean, it's hard. I know with my mom, it was a consistent fight, and we went through many brands of water from what is it? We started with Poland Springs, and then we went from Poland
Hmm.
Springs to Pellegrino, and from
Hmm.
Pellegrino we did try Evian, and we tried what's another one?
I
Essentia.
like I like rainwater. I love the
Hmm.
rainwater. I'm okay with it, but it's freaking $10 for 6 cans. You
Mm,
know, so
quite a bit. It's quite a
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
But
But I mean, but it still doesn't make me want to drink more of it. You know what I'm saying? Nothing makes me want to drink it, and it's I'm a slow drinker, just period. So it doesn't even matter if it's liquor or whatever. I'm just not one of those people that drink things fast. Like I'm
mhm.
not one of those like when they be like chug chug chug. Like I'm not her. I'm not
She's
gonna
like,
win. I'm not gonna win a chug contest. Like it's not gonna happen. I'm just not one of those people. And so I recognize that. And like I said, I know what water does for my skin. My sister is an esthetician. She is like has
oh wow.
always been skin, and like she walks around with this big jug of water. She gonna have her margarita in one hand and she gonna have a jug of water in the other hand. Like my
That's
sister is
hysterical.
she's
She's balancing
always
it out, huh?
yeah, she's always balancing it out. Like she's got, she's taking her apple cider vinegar shots. She's doing her facial. She's like doing everything for her skin. So she's so big on skin and the importance of drinking water. So I know these things has been embedded in my head. And so I drink it because I know that I need it. And I know it makes my skin look better. And when I don't drink it, I get the little bitty bumps. Like I know, I can see,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
know. So I do. That's why I said I have a hate relationship. I can't stand it, but I know it's good for me. So, and I drink it no matter what. I drink it before I go to bed. When I wake up in the middle of the night,
Oh, you're
cause
good. You're
I'm
still real good.
yeah. When I wake up in the middle of the night having my night sweats, I just reach over, grab some water. Like I recognize it, but I don't like it. You would think as much as I drink it, oh, she
Well,
like water. I
well,
hate
have
it.
you thought about any kind of implants in your water, from cucumber to mint
Yes, I
to
do. I do that. I do that to
lemon
break up
and
the
dill?
monotony.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Good, good. And here's the thing: if you're gonna do implants, try to lend yourself on the side of like your cucumber, your lime, maybe some mint, things of that.
I do
Watermelon.
cilantro because
Oh,
cilantro will
okay.
help. Because cilantro helps clean out your
Mhm.
kidneys and
Kidneys
stuff
and your
like
liver.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, and your liver. So yeah, I'll
That's
throw a piece
nice.
of cilantro in there. I do things to break it up, but at the end of the day, ugh, ugh.
It's just like, no, I don't think so. Let me ask you this. Before you went to your doctor, I want to kind of turn the page a little bit. I want to talk about, what do we know actually about hormones? What do we know about what's happening? Did you do any research before you went to your doctor?
I did not.
Didn't? So
Mm-mm.
just kind of basically on the strength of something's wrong, and someone like me kind of like skips along and says, hey, here's what's probably going on with your body. One of the things that I'm finding is, I've been out here in these streets for like way long time. Um, and I was pissed off and frustrated that people were not talking about this. Recently, over the last 3 to 4 years, people have started talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
How do you, how does that make you feel now about the notion of menopause?
Um, like I said before, like I never. I mean, I of course, we all know it's there. It's always a
Uh-huh.
thing.
Yeah.
It's always been a something. It's always been a, a topic, but it just never was a topic, in any of my arenas,
Hmm.
until the flashes started. When the flashes
For
started, then it
everybody.
became a conversation. And
Hmm.
it just seems like to me, as soon as I start going through it, it's almost like when you search something on the internet and then it just keeps popping up in your social media feeds.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I feel like ever since I said the word menopause,
Hmm.
now in my social media feeds, it's always something about some menopause. So I
Another
do
friend of mine
think
has that.
that because the world is kind of embracing women's health issues a lot
Hmm. Hmm.
more,
Yep.
not to the extent that we need, but because they are addressing those things a lot more,
Hmm.
I do feel like we are seeing it more.
Hmm.
We are learning more. So, the next time you go to the doctor, you have more information to ask more things. But before, when I first went, I mean, I just wanted to know, why the heck am I 40 years old? You know, I think I was like 43 years old and I'm having hot flashes. I'm too young for this. This doesn't make any sense. That's what I went to the
Hmm.
doctor for. I want to know why. And I had been teasing my sister like, "Girl, why you sweating?" And then next thing I know, here I am, karma.
One of the things that gets lumped into it, because there's so many hormonal challenges or chain evolutions in your hormones, things like, I know things that I don't talk about. I have a lot of symptoms, but I didn't have everything. One of the things that I've talked about, is the change in taste, that
Mhm.
things will not taste good to you anymore, or the development
Mhm.
of new allergies. That's
Mhm.
something else that comes up.
Yes, I became allergic to mosquitoes. Like what?
Like, you weren't allergic to mosquitoes before? It was just like a bite and
No,
go? What happens
no.
now?
Full out looked like Sherman Klump when he turned to Buddy Love transition. Like
Oh no.
I have EpiPens. I have to epi myself sometimes because I will just swell and swell. Like it is, yeah, it's
Yeah, your
ridiculous.
body does has an evolutionary process. One of the things I always tell people is empty women to start to empty your F bucket, because you don't have, when you start forgetting things, and that's a decline in your estrogen as well. When you start forgetting, I remember one time sobbing in a parking lot because I forgot, I could not remember to save my life where I had put my car. And it was just this feeling of frustration and helplessness. And I wonder about, and low key, I really thought I was having early onset Alzheimer's. I was like, oh dear God, I can't remember the car. I can't remember where I put my keys. I can't remember where I put my wallet. It was just amazing. I was like a whirling dervish sometimes. And one of the things that we don't talk about when it comes to perimenopause and menopause is how a lot of women who've been very super hyper efficient in their lives will become slightly less efficient in their lives because
Listen.
of these hormonal drops.
Yeah, and then on top of all of that, I previously was diagnosed with epilepsy. I had epilepsy for a lot of years. So my epilepsy, it affected my short-term memory. So I already was having memory issues. Now to throw this on top of those, I'm not no longer having the seizures
Hmm.
and everything like that, but my memory sucks. Is so frustrating. That is another reason why I don't argue like I used to, because I don't be remembering shit. Like I can't remember that shit.
It's like,
So, and that's
did I say
another
that?
reason. It's another reason why I don't lie. Like I had to stop lying. I can't lie because I ain't gonna fucking remember what the fucking lie was. Like, it's just, it's just, listen. I mean,
Oh,
it's just it's just different. There's just a different way of just navigating just my day to day
yes,
because
yes.
of it. And then, like I said, and then throwing the menopause on top of that, it's just like brain fog. Like it's a lot.
Brain fog is real. It's the same thing. Like one of the things that I really challenge people to sit down and look at it is that when you look at puberty and you
Mm-hmm.
look at um, like the three big hormonal upheavals, you have puberty, you have pregnancy, and you have menopause.
Mm-hmm.
All of those ups and downs, those major transits, are very much the same. I remember feeling get in the process of getting my period at 10, feeling so weak and so wrung out, and just having this sincere sense of lethargy and just
Really?
not be, oh my God, I was so
I started
sick.
mine at 10. I don't remember that. I think I was just a
Oh,
different child. I was walking around happy, energetic, like you couldn't tell me nothing. Like
my
I
period.
I was so ready. I was one of those people, like my mom and my sisters, they had prepped me for it.
Mm-mm.
And like as soon as it came, my bloody panties was in everybody's face. I ran around the house with those bloody draws and was like, I'm a woman. I'm a woman in everybody's face.
Oh my
Like
Lord.
everybody got
Mm-mm.
the period panties in their face because I'm like, I did it. Like, and then
And
and
that's so
then
healthy though.
yeah, but then another thing is and I think it's because my mom and my sisters, none of them experienced cramps. I didn't have cramps. We didn't have cramping. So the period was just a period. The period would be there for three to 4 days and that's it. Like
Oh, the
I didn't
lies you
have
tell.
all of the woes that like my friends, like my best friend, like I remember she couldn't even move. Like she would just be in the bed for one whole day. She ain't going nowhere, doing nothing. She just miserable, taking drugs.
A whole day. I would have my period for 2 weeks. Steady flow for 2 weeks. And then
I
it
only
would
had my
wind down.
periods for 2 weeks when I had a volleyball injury, and during that volleyball injury, me and a girl collided, and it just like it was like we where we hit, it was like it just threw my periods off, and
Ooh.
for probably about a year, I had my periods lasted for 2 weeks, and I was just like this something got to change, and then one day it just changed. But I was like, yeah, I mean, like, what is this? I'm having periods for a whole 2 weeks. But then right before
No, no empathy there. No, zero.
but right before my before I went and got my partial hysterectomy, my period I experienced the first time ever having cramps. I never had cramps. It was probably a year before I started having cramps and stuff, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is what y'all be dealing with every month." Like oh. So
That's
as soon as
that's
I
the
talked to
thing.
my doctor, and she was like, you have these fibroids and this is an option. I was like, take it out, take it out. Like, I'm not, I don't know how y'all did. I probably had cramps for probably 6 months. And I
No,
was like, take it all out. Like, get rid of it.
no. I had cramps from about 10 years old until my
Oh.
period stopped, and then after that, I'd have phantom period cramps, which was very weird that my body would cycle
I
through.
used to have, okay, so I used to have a cramp that let me know my period was going to start in a couple days. Basically, I guess like,
Pre
well, I guess
cramp.
when my egg was
Uh huh.
moving or
Transiting.
whatever,
Yeah.
that was about it.
Oh
But
my
it was
God.
nothing. It was just enough pain for me to be like, "Ooh, my period's coming," you know. But no, like I've seen some people with this having this horrible pain, like some horrible cramping, and even like one of my daughters, she used to have a little cramps and stuff like that. But still, like now to this day, they don't have that much cramping either, and their periods are like 3 days, 4 days, and that's just it.
Is that normal?
So
I mean,
I
I
don't.
remember in
In my
perimenopause.
family, it's normal. I can't say that it's normal for other people, but my mom and my sisters were that way, and my girls are the same way. Their periods are just only last
I
for
would
three to
give
four
almost
days.
anything to have had periods that lasted 3 days. I mean, I remember one of my very last ones. It was I had my period for 3 months straight, every day. Yeah. So, and that was in the beginning of perimenopause. I'm like, something is so not right. So, one of the things that speaking of which, um, how did you feel when you had your last period, when you realized that your period was your last period? How did you feel?
I was
Now,
excited.
now you do have kids and you are a grandma. So that's a whole that's a do you think it's a different kind of scenario or different kind of mental, I don't want to say gymnastics, but a mental back summy, for lack of a better word, when women who either had one child and maybe wanted another child, or women who didn't have children, do you think that recognition of that last period is harder for some women than others?
I do, even though I didn't go through that because, like I said, I had the partial hysterectomy, so I already knew we was gonna be gone, and I was happy. Because I can't do with them cramps. I don't know how you ladies.
Yo, man, just find a good radiator or heating pad.
I don't know how y'all
You
do
find
it.
me draped across
But
anybody's radiator.
I definitely have had conversations with friends who did experience their last periods, and just the finality of being a mom, possibility of being a mom, or not being able to ever be a mom. Like, one of my best friends, her sister went through menopause at 21, and she never was able to even have children ever. And so, just, it is like a grand finale for, like,
Mhm.
your procreation time. Like, it's
Fertility,
just, yeah,
fertility.
fertility. Your
That
fertility time is just gone. Like,
that
you
stage of
know
life is
yeah,
done.
I didn't experience that, in that level of it, but I
Yeah,
definitely have had conversations, had friends, held some hands during that process. Excuse me, but it's not something that I experienced, because them cramps, they had to go. Listen, I was gonna reach up in there and take everything out my damn self if my doctor didn't agree to it.
oh, it couldn't have been that bad,
I don't
girl.
know. I don't know how y'all do it. And if you was on your period for 2 weeks, that means that you was cramping for
Three,
two
it would
weeks.
be 2.5 to 3 weeks.
Nah,
I
I
remember a
can't do it.
boyfriend saying to me, "So
I
I
can't
only
do
have
it.
like one real good normal week with you." I'm like, "Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much
Mm-mm.
what it sounds like." Um, One of the things that when we talk about the end of your menstrual
One of
cycle,
my friends said she was on her period for a whole entire year.
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Was it a slow
But she
drip?
is but she is also someone who, like I was speaking about earlier,
Mhm.
that wasn't even able to have her own children,
Wow.
due to these
Mhm.
feminine issues.
Mhm.
And so, yeah.
But see, when we say feminine issues and we say it like that, it's kind of like when we kind of hide sex and sensuality and sexuality. It's one of those things. I believe that if we have now the ability to talk about intercourse and ED and other things like that, we should
Hmm.
be able to talk about the various stages, because I used to do something called midlife must, and I realized that people don't even realize when they're in midlife. Midlife, the middle of your life starts at 40. At
Right.
40, and
Right.
then that kind of runs to all the way up to, like, say 62, 63. That is basically the middle of your life, and then from there people want to label you as a senior. And what's interesting to me is, um, you have people who are in this midlife, but now a lot of the alphas and the Gen Zs are like, go and be old, boomers. You don't we don't need you over here. Just go and be old. And a lot of people who are in that baby boom kind of generation are like, no, you don't tell me how and when to age. And I think
Right.
it's a thing. Um, One of the other things I want to kind of start to kind of pull the covers back on, and we'll talk a little bit more because you kind of alluded to it, is mental health in women. And a
Hmm.
lot of women find themselves the same way, which really kind of makes me chuckle in a way. We talk about with acceptance postpartum depression now,
Hmm.
and people understand that with these wild swings of hormones, women become hormonally imbalanced, which leads itself into
But they
depression.
still don't give women grace when it comes to hormonal imbalances.
Yeah.
They don't give people grace, period. They
No.
don't even, they don't acknowledge the fact that men have hormonal
Oh
imbalances
my
as
God,
well.
they do.
Like, yeah, like they don't understand. It's
When they're
like,
in midlife, absolutely.
yeah,
This is the
like
time
they
that they're.
don't, it's like nobody gets it. Like everybody goes through it, but nobody gets it. I don't understand that. Like, it's not gonna be it's not something that hits and misses everybody. Like every woman is gonna go through menopause. Like there's not gonna be a woman that's not gonna go. Everybody is not Ruth. Like you're not about to be Ruth. Like you is gonna go through menopause. You you know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
Like you're going. It's gonna happen. Like, and I just feel like, I am glad now that there are more conversations about it.
Because
Um
there's
and I
a certain
don't
level of shame with it before.
yeah, and there's no shame with it. and
Mm-mm.
and I'm also glad to hear that, that we mental health is being taken serious now.
Hmm.
um and stuff, and everything is, it's not just lock them up in the asylum and shock them a couple times. Like, I'm, but
Agreed. Agreed.
it does play a part in everything, because your body goes through so many changes as a woman during menopause.
Ooh,
Like your weight fluctuates so much, your skin
absolutely.
changes, your hair changes, everything just continuously keeps changing. As soon as you think you've got it, you don't, because it'll just flip and do something else. And so for people or women just in general to, we want to have the one things that you've always been able to kind of control in your life is what you take in, and and how you look, and those things you've been able to pretty much, keep those things in mind. But once menopause starts, like you don't got control of nothing. Like I don't know if my hair gonna be strong today or fall out tomorrow. Like you just don't know. Like it is, and so those things play into your mental health, the
Oh yeah.
mental health of it all. Like, it does. Like I had always had this, my hair's always been really thick and really big. My fro was so good. And then after I took those faux locks out, and my hair is just as thin, like you literally, I was like, what is
Hmm.
this? Like,
Hmm.
and so
As you
now,
keep combing, more comes out.
right, I'm
Yep.
talking about, I'm shedding hair. Like I don't even know how I still have hair on my head. That's how much hair I'm shedding. And so it's just, it gives me this notion, um like, to think, well, what am I going to, how do I feel about this? Because I've always had hair. Like
Hmm.
I've always had a lot of hair. Like from a
Really?
baby all my life, I've always had this long hair, big hair, this a lot of hair. And then, so it did mentally kind of play a factor in everything, with me. And it didn't last long, because I think I took the hair out in March, and in May I was like, lock it up.
Whoa, you
It's
are
like,
not playing.
yeah,
Well,
because I mean, I told you, I'm just at a point in a stage in my life where I just
intolerance.
can't let these things
Hmm.
boggle me
Hmm.
down, and stuff like that, because I am trying to preserve my mental health, and
Hmm.
and things like that. I'm trying to be conscious and of so much stuff when it comes to me, and to the people around me and things like that. So yeah, I just had to fix it. Like, well, let's fix it and let's see. And if I don't like it, I'll cut it off. You know what I'm saying? It's hair, so, but I miss my fro. And all the time, every time I see a girl with a big fro, I be like, oh, I want my fro back. And then everybody's like, get you a wig. And I'm like, I'm not putting that hot thing on me. Like, I'm already freaking, I could just see me now with a hot flash and a wig. I
Honey.
can just see that wig just over there to the
Now,
side.
it
Like,
it depends upon what you got going on underneath that wig. Otherwise, you use some of those tips that I have in terms of how you're fanning and what you got going. I'm telling you, man. Shari, we are now at 9:36, and
tell me
I've
about
known
this kit first before you
girl.
do.
All right, the
Tell me about the kit.
perimenopause survival kit. I sat down and I realized that there are generally 7 pillars that tend to falter during perimenopause. That's your sex life for some, your sleep, your weight, pain, as well as your mindset. And for a lot of people, your money goes there as well as the
Hmm.
pain. So what I did is I said, what are some of the things that really kind of are daisy chained together that really make that kind of impact? Sleep is critical and crucial. A lot of people do not people sleep on how important sleep is. So
Hmm.
I have a lamp that's going to be a red light therapy lamp that's coming in it. I have a set of cooling sheets in there, and I have a tea that is going to be in there. And so that is one, and a chill out chocolate. So for those people who are struggling with anxiety or with overwhelming stress at night, you can kind of grab your little chocolate, and it's easy. It's not going to kind of trip you up with work. So it's got a good balance of CBD and just enough THC in that so it doesn't trigger anything or make anything kind of go sideways with your job. Um, the cooling sheets are amazing. Oh my God. The thing I love about it is the cooling sheet set we have is 100% natural products, and it comes with a duvet. So if you really want to kind of dedicate your room to that, as far as the sleep tea, it puts you down. It puts you down and lets you sleep. There's some other products that are in there in the whole kit for weight loss. There are workout programs and things like that where you can do virtually. It's just like I sat down and thought about all the things that made it challenging for me, especially when I'm flashing, because I used to have a ton of flashes, be it the weight, and knowing that you're bloated. I remember I can't even. I'm ashamed at all of the events that I canceled because I was bloated, and also a product that I'm going to put in there. That if you follow me on TikTok, you may have noticed I've been talking a lot about it. It's called Belly Welly. I'm telling you, that stuff is the truth. It helps with the bloat. If you're somebody who struggles with um, constipation or someone who struggles with lack of hydration, like you may want to, as well as it adds in collagen. Because I was that chick who'd be like sneering at 20-year-olds. It's like, "You collagen filled bitch, you." I was like, yes, I have collagen envy. So what? But that product also has collagen in it. And I'm looking at doing something with another product that I've done a review on that really literally helps your hair get thicker and helps it grow. So those are the things that are in the perimenopause 101 survival kit, because moving through perimenopause is more than just surviving. There's making that pivot so that you start to thrive. So that, and also I'm putting in a brain fog. Hello, I'm putting in a product called Sliquid, and Sliquid is a product that helps to make any type of intimate engagement amazingly amazing slickery fun.
Right.
So that's what's going on with that. I'm really excited about it. Um, I was looking for one or two people to be volunteers to give me feedback on the cooling sheets. Um, and I'm
I
looking.
definitely like to try that. I need
All
some
right.
white ones though. I need them to be white.
Because I was like, do people want gray or dark blue or white? So white should be good. I have
Yeah.
another set that's coming in. Um, Sherry, what kinds of things do you have on the percolator? Things going on as well. Oh, and just so people know, you can get the perimenopause 101 survival kit on TikTok, or you can DM me and I will send you a link for that for the pre-sale. By the way, go ahead, love.
Well, Naturally Unbothered podcast, we're going through another evolution. And
Mm.
so we are getting our footing in this new evolution. We have decided that we are going to kind of change the focus of the show. We're not going away from sex though.
Okay,
But
okay.
we are going to start implementing a little more of, some other topics and things like that into the show.
Okay.
And Everybody could have seen because of the month of June, Corey completely took over. And I had the
So
whole
Corey
month of
took over.
June off. I had the whole month
Oh,
off. He gave me the whole month off, and he kind of took
nice.
over and stuff like that. And so, we're just trying to do new things. We're
Okay.
in our fifth year, and so we're just trying to do and keep ourselves relevant, keep the show good, keep
Hmm.
we're having some younger millennial type guests on the show, trying to get another little
Hmm.
perspective.
Okay.
We have all kinds of little things that going on. So that's pretty much what's going on with the podcast. And then as far as adornment chic, which is these earrings,
Oh, they're cute.
I did start affirmations and earrings once a week. So on Sundays on Adornment Chic, I post affirmations and earrings.
Nice.
um and this summer I'm just doing a lot of like events. Adornmentchic.store, you can get my earrings. So I'm just doing a lot of little local events here in Houston. Just trying to get people to rock my wearable art.
Rock her
Yeah,
wear. There
my
you go.
wearable art. That's what I
I
got
love
going
it.
on.
I love it. I love it. And one of the things that I will say to a lot of women is that as you get into this midlife menopausal kind of arc, I think you will find that your creativity starts to soar because you'll start to hopefully, and we'll talk about this next time, that evolution where you start to see yourself and the things and the people around you differently, and you start to step into this newer, more improved, more evolved version of yourself.
Definitely.
This is Wink. We will be back at the end of the month, and the format might be changing. I might be changing this a little bit because the conversations. I feel
Why
like I
not?
miss you guys. I feel
Why
like
not?
I want to talk to you a little bit more. We probably will do that as we come into the latter part of the summer. Shari, I want to thank you so much for joining me. This is Wink, otherwise known as Karen, signing off. We will see you again for part two and the last Monday of this month. Looking forward to see you there.
Bye.
See you later. Bye.